Welcome back, folks, to day 4, of course, of Special Projects pack number 6. This time I would say, more believable approach to a non-real vehicle. This is my own take on what a BMW M2 GTS could have been. Of course, we have the Competition, but not a GTS. I've done 2 different liveries on this one. One, as you can see, in grey with gold as a tribute to the M4 GTS, and the other one, unsurprisingly, I've done in orange and black as a tribute to the M3 GTS. So only 2 colours for this one. I decided to keep it a bit more limited edition. Now, as far as the upgrades, as I often do with road-based builds, purchased a couple of different exhausts to see which one looked the best and had the amount of power that I was going for. So in terms of the exhaust to actually use, you only need to buy the sports silencer in particular. You don't need any of the other ones. You want the sports computer, the sports filter, pads, stage 1 weight reduction. I've opted, unsurprisingly, to leave it on sports hard tyres. For the club sports section, you want the sports discs, the clutch and flywheel, the power restrictor and the ballast. For the semi-racing stuff, like I said, you don't need the silencer. You do, however, want the low RPM turbo, gives you that really nice low-end shove, as the name suggests. You want the fully customised limited slip diff. As far as the racing parts, like I said, again, you don't need the racing silencer. I've gone for the fully customised suspension though. Kind of overkill, but being a GTS, it is of course more of a track-focused car. I wanted it to have that fully adjustable feel. And as far as the extreme stuff and the ultimate stuff, you don't need anything there. So, like I said, pretty simple tune, and certainly a more grounded one. In terms of how it compares to the normal car, the Competition has 405 horsepower. I bumped this one up to 480. To me, that sounds like kind of a believable amount for a GTS. And likewise with the weight, I wanted it to be less, but not to a ridiculous degree, because if you take a look at real-world lightweight cars, they don't tend to drop a ridiculous amount. They're not like half a ton lighter in most cases. So we went from 1575 kilos to 1495. To me, that's pretty believable in a car like this. Now, as far as the settings, of course, we have our tyres fitted already. For the suspension, I've got the ride height on 117, primarily to, of course, lower the ride height, or lower the centre of gravity, I should say, a little bit, but also so that it doesn't look too low. Again, you want the car to look believable. We've got the anti-roll on 435 for the compression on the dampers, 44 for the rebound, 2.25 on frequency. Only 1 degree of camber, and then I've gone for 0.10 toe in on the rear with none on the front for this one. For the diff, I've opted for 10, 20 and 10. Nitrous, of course, is not fitted, likewise with the transmission. Power restrictor and ECU are not touched. I have added 94 kilos of ballast to bring us up to that weight of 1495, and of course it's not like it's a real car anyway, so you don't have to do exactly what I've done. But like I said, I wanted believable numbers. For the downforce, we've got the middle on the rear, 240, and of course on the front, just under 200, or just under the middle, I should say, at 140. And as far as the rest, all this stuff, of course, you could see as we already fitted. So all that remains is to jump out to the Nürburgring, the GP course in particular, to show you what it can do in practice. Now, spoiler alert, I will say, out of all 10 of these cars, this is probably the one that I use the least. It's the car which, to me, kind of ticked one of the boxes that I wanted to do. It's not a car that I'm super passionate about. I already like the M2, but the GTS BMWs have never been massive favourites of mine. They are, however, quicker, more track-focused. They are essentially, of course, the GT3 RS of BMWs, so with that in mind, it certainly has the performance of one. It does sit at less than 600 points on those sports tyres, so you could certainly use it in events if you wanted to, maybe in Korea, definitely online for sub 600 points, and that's even if you only go for what I've done with the 480 horses and the 1495 kilos. If, for example, you wanted to change it up a bit and maybe drop the weight even more, which is simple enough to do, just remove the ballast that I added if you wanted to, then you've certainly got a weapon that you can use both as a fictional build and also as a car that you could use for competition as well if you wanted to. So, of course, if you do want to grab one of the 2 liveries, either the grey and gold or the orange and black, then of course I hope you enjoy the car. Certainly if you are a fan of the BMW GTS cars and certainly a fan of the M2. And of course, it goes without saying, check out the other Special Projects builds from this week in pack number 6 as well. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.